Once upon a time, there was a little boy called Howard who loved writing stories.
Little Howard dreamed of being a writer, and so he sat and wrote every night. But everything he wrote was fucking shite, yeah. Wubba-dubba-doo, wubba-dubba-doo. Worst writer in the world, worst writer in the world, worst writer in the world, worst writer in the world. He's a stupid, suck-ass, rubbish writer.
Welcome to the worst writer in the world with me, Rufus, and he's tiny but perfectly formed.
Hooray!
It's Howard.
Long!
And hey, do you know, we don't do it every episode now, but maybe at the beginning of the story we should say a quick thank you to the British Comedy Guide for hosting this show. Very lovely of them.
Yes.
And also, of course, massive, great, meaty thanks to all of our subscribers on Patreons, except for the vegetarians and vegans who get big planty thanks.
Thanks.
Massive planty thanks to them, okay? And of course, despite the fact that you contribute nothing to the world, thanks to you for listening to this show. I've kind of missed, in a way, I've missed insulting our listeners every week.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the start of a story, strictly speaking, not our story, not a story written by us. Because for the next few weeks, we're going to be talking about the Supergirl movie from 1984.
The best from the Super franchise, I would argue.
Very possibly it's up there with Superman 3,
Oh,
isn't
yeah,
it?
actually, yeah. The second best from the Super franchise.
From of any superhero movie that's ever been made, including all the new ones, Superman 3 and Supergirl are the top one.
Yes.
they are the top one.
Yeah, and then nothing in second place, and then...
Everything else last.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. You know how for the last few months that our release schedule has been somewhat sporadic, right? As there's no clear sign of how often we do it. It's just been when we get round to it, really.
Yeah.
Well, we decided that's not good enough. And so from this point on, we are going to be a strictly fortnightly show. We're going to release one episode every 2 weeks.
Amazing.
Which is arguably, I think, averages out over the year as the same number of episodes. Because previously we'd be like sometimes weekly, sometimes fortnightly, frequently monthly or less. You know, it was quite random.
Yes.
But from this point on, we're going to be doing fortnightly episodes. But that's not the most exciting news.
Ooh.
Because I was thinking this recently, right? I tell you, me, right? This is about me. Forget about them for a minute. This is just about me. I don't like waiting for things, especially with episodic stories. I hate waiting for episodic stories to the point that, like, if there's a TV show I want to watch and it's releasing in the old-fashioned one episode a week kind of way.
Yes.
I will wait until the end of the series to even start watching it because I can't be dealing with like cliffhangers and waiting to find. And I forget what happened. Like, what I do is I watch an episode and at the end I'm like, I want to see the next one now, and I can't because it's not out till next week. And then about half an hour afterwards, I completely forget everything that happened in that episode and stop caring. So those are two bad feelings, right? Both of which are solved by the binge format, right? When they release all the episodes at once, which I like a lot.
Yeah.
But then there's us just doing the same thing.
Yeah.
To other people, and I started to think that's not good enough, is it? We should do something about that.
You're a product of the modern age. You just like binging. Like
I'm very young in that. That's why
most people do now, and most people have that memory, have Will's disease these days.
Yeah. Well, it's good to have a choice, isn't it? So what we're going to do is we're going to offer people a choice. Now, of course, you can keep listening for free. The Worst Writer in the World will always be free, but those episodes will be fortnightly. But if you want to not wait for Supergirl's going to be in 4 episodes, by the way. In fact, actually, no, Supergirl's going to be in 6 episodes, by the way, although we're releasing them in different parts because the first 4 episodes are about the movie, and then we've got 2 more episodes about the first draft script, and it's something you really want to listen to. It's really fun, right? And so you're going to have to wait a long time to hear all them, but if you sign up to our secret gang on Patreon for just $2,
Wow,
you can get the whole story now, and that's something we've never done before. And this is another thing I was thinking about, like podcasts that have like adverts in, which we've never done. Like, the adverts really bug me, and if a show has a Patreon with no adverts and I like it, then I'm signing up just to get rid of the adverts.
Yeah.
And like we don't do that, but we do a lot of this kind of guff at the beginning and end of
That's
episodes.
true.
So another thing you can avoid is the guff. All right, you can avoid the guff, get all the episodes at once, and just listen to the story straight through. And you can do that right now. So let me explain it one more time. At the beginning of every story we release now, no matter how long it is, even if it's 16 episodes long, when we release episode 1, the gang will get it all. Ooh. And that's anyone who signed up. That's from the very basic $2 tier. And if you're listening and you're not in the gang and you think, well, I'd like that, all you've got to do is sign up for $2 and you'll get it all immediately. So you don't even have to commit. You don't even have to stick around if you don't want to, although we'd like it if you do. And if you do decide to sign up to get all of Supergirl now, and that's 6 episodes right now, you can also, of course, immediately get your hands on loads of other stuff as well. Because it's not just that. It's our whole massive, getting on for 10 years of back catalogue now. And even the $2 tier, there's a load of stuff that is exclusive to Patreon. And if you like it and decide to upgrade, then it's ridiculous. The weeks and months of audio entertainment that you can get on there.
I concur.
All right, so Howard, shall we get started with our very deep dive into Supergirl 1984?
Yes, please.
So tell me, Howard, what's the best thing you've done in your life?
Wow.
Yeah, I thought I'd start with a big question.
Maybe something I did when I was 12. It's probably...
Yeah, I mean, I think Rapunzel's a contender, right? But so is The Mystery of the Golden Bus, definitely a possibility. You know, those are 2 pretty great things.
Yeah.
Time Pig, that's pretty good. Choose Your Own Adventure story about a pig travelling in time and collecting diamonds to put in his TARDIS.
Yeah.
That was pretty amazing. I'll tell you what I think one of the best things you've ever done is, right, is your performance of the character of Mayrick in Time Switch.
Okay.
Right, which I'd like to talk about before we start, because I'm going to be making reference to Time Switch and Mayrick throughout this retelling of Supergirl. Okay. So people might have heard us talk about this. I'm not sure if we've talked about it on this show. Probably not.
No.
But in fact, let's talk about our history of making stuff from the very start, right? Because obviously we've known each other since we were 3. And I'd say making this kind of thing has always been part of our lives, right? The first thing being when we very early on got into audio, when we got hold of a cassette recorder, put a cassette in, pressed record, and did our own radio show called the Bull Rubbish Radio Roadshow. Yes, that's right. I got it wrong. In which we would do silly voices and sing songs, and completely different to the kind, tell stories, completely different to the kind of content we do now. Obviously, we've grown up loads since then. Then we acted in some plays together. That was kind of fun. And then we wrote our own musical, which was 18 hours long. And for some reason, the school decided not to perform it. That was weird, wasn't it? It was disappointing.
And it's so bad, it's not even allowed to be on this show.
Yeah. We've tried, right? We've tried making content out of it, but there's just too bad. We can't get anything good out of it. Then, actually, an important moment in my life was when we started doing GCSEs, I guess around the age of 14, right? We had to choose a couple of subjects. A lot of it was compulsory, but there were a couple of subjects you got to choose. And I remember you chose a subject called Expressive and Performing Arts, but I didn't. In fact, me and Simon Tyers, hello Simon Tyers, we decided to do what was it called? A Prince someone? There was a Duke of Edinburgh. I was like, which paedophile was it? No. It was the Duke of Edinburgh award,
Did
right?
the Duke of Edinburgh Awards?
No, we didn't do it. That's what we chose. This is what happened, right? We were like, let's go camping and do stuff in the woods. That'd be fun. And we forgot who we were for for a couple of weeks. And we were signed up for that. We went to we walked into the first lesson in the
Yes.
classroom and said, we changed our minds, we're going to do expressive and performing arts instead. Because I think in the meantime, you'd probably talked me into it, right? You'd been like, what you thinking? That sounds really difficult. Come and do expressive and performing arts. That's going to be a skive, right? that's gonna be a load of messing about.
Yeah.
And then you get and then you get a good mark at the end of it.
Yeah, it's just like, because you get to pretend you're still doing Mr. Cotton's class and you get a good grade for being shit. Come do that.
And so we did. And we but at the very after the last minute, really, when the first class had started, we switched, and it was surprisingly easy to switch. And I think it's because the PE teacher who was running the Duke of Edinburgh Award really didn't want us in his class because he knew we were not the right. We want to do performing arts. Yes, that sounds like you. Go now and just tell the teacher you're doing it.
Yeah, that or he didn't fancy you. So I don't need to take these kids camping. They're not hot enough.
What are they going to do for me? Nothing. Yeah. Cook beans? I've already got. I can cook my own beans. Now that sounded like you. The thing is, right? I think that decision, that momentary decision to do expressive and performing arts instead of Duke of Edinburgh Award, changed my life. I think that was a fork in the road for me. And in many ways, even though we'd done stuff like it before, in many ways that is what led me here. Because that was what taught me to properly enjoy writing and performing, and we did a fucking radio show then as well, didn't we? Because we recorded your Doctor Who script, Creature of Aggression. We tried to do it on video and failed, and then just did it into a tape player again. We revived the Bull Rubbish Road show because we failed at doing a video.
Yeah.
And we did a puppet show.
I wrote my magnum opus, Midnight Smoke, or whatever it's called.
Midnight Smoke, yeah, absolutely. And TARDIS is 5, a version of TARDIS is 5, right? Was you rewrote that for expressive and performing arts because that was Creature of Aggression, right?
Yes.
And then because of that, I went on to study theatre studies at A-level and theatre at university and stuff. And that led to a lot of things.
yeah, and that's why you're so famous now. It's rich and famous.
Sorry, when I said led to a lot of things, I meant events in my life rather than success.
Yeah, just bad things. It led to a lot of bad things.
Mostly bad things, yeah.
Drug addiction, living on the street.
It led to me being in my 40s watching the movie Supergirl from 1984 in great detail and then talking about it for up to 6 hours with my friend. But another thing that had obviously a big influence on our life is a few years after this, a few years after we've been doing, because it would have been when we were studying A-levels,
yes,
right, that we did, there was a week at the end of term when you had to choose some kind of activity to do for a week, right? It was all the classes had finished, but we were still at school for a week. And there were all these different things you could choose, and they were all awful, right? And me, you, Alf, and Norman were just all these things are terrible. But they did say, if you've got an idea of your own, come and let us know, and maybe we'll let you do it. So we went and said, yeah, we'd like to make a film. We're art students. We'd like to make a film, please. Can we borrow a video camera?
Alf wanted to play board games, but I don't think we would let him.
Did he? Oh, surely they wouldn't have let him either. It's not primary school. And so we decided to make some movies. In fact, not just one, but 4, I think was our initial, because there were 4 days, we were going to make one a day. You had this idea for a movie called Time Switch, right? But it was going to be a serious science fiction movie that we were going to make. And in fact, we did make, right?
An idea.
Or we made some of it, right?
I think my idea was it was called Time Switch. And that's not even an idea.
Why was it called Time Switch?
Because there was a switch called the Time Switch next
there was
to the
a cupboard
swimming
with Time Switch.
pool,
Yeah, it was full of the time switches. And so you thought that would be a good name for some aliens. Time switches. Not even the name for a time travel movie. You were like, what if there was some aliens called time switches?
Yeah.
That'd be good. You're like, yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah.
But we all trusted you because you'd written classics like A Most Entertaining Spectacle, The Puppet Show, and Midnight Smoke, a story about a man going mad in the Arctic and eating his best friend's skeleton.
Yeah.
Right, so
I
we trusted your
thing how things
ideas.
Worked, yeah.
Yeah. So the first day of this week of filming, we started making we didn't write it; it was improvised, right? You had the idea, and it was improvised.
Yeah.
It was about some aliens, right? Played by me and Norman.
Yeah.
Who did what? What did they do? They were just going to try and blow up a planet. Was that their objective?
Did they kidnap a pig?
No, that's the second one. That's the second thing. What was their objective? They were doing something, right? They were trying to stop the main character. Anyway, you were playing the main character. You were the hero, and you were called Maygrick. You were called Maygrick.
That's right.
And really, that's what I'm really here to talk about. Because Maygrick was this kind of character who found himself... He was sent on a mission, right?
He was.
By the Master Magician.
Yeah, by the Master Magician.
To get the radioactive vector gauge. Because
without the
aliens...
Yeah, I think...
If the aliens got it, they could have the universe.
Yeah, I think they already had it. I think they had the radioactivity, so I needed to beam onto the ship, steal it, and then blow them up somehow with the radioactive vector gauge.
Because otherwise they can blow everyone else up. So you're like taking their weapon from them, or an important part of their weapon. Mm-hmm. And Maygrick was that you played him as this character who was kind of...
He was a fish out of water.
Fish out of water, yeah. And you did, as we often...
Because he was on a mission and he loved missions, he was really a mish out of water. That's what I like to call him. Now I like to call him that. I've never called him that before. But
never said that before in your life. Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot.
He was a mish out of water.
He was a mish out of water. Yeah, as we all know, as we always say, he was a mish out of water. As we've said so many times.
Oh no, where am I? I'm a mish out of water. That's what he used to say when he appeared.
And you kind of channeled this archetype character of a fish out of water who goes around being confused by everyday things.
Yes.
That now we see that in so much sci-fi and so many things where someone goes, "What is this fish? And why is it out of water?" Right? Yeah. Like someone introduces you to something, you're like, "Please explain this to me. I don't understand it." And you performed it in that way, right?
Yeah.
What is this wall? And in fact, the reason is because when you were improvising, you were walking around school grounds, and you went up to a sign that said "Caretaker," and read it slowly. Went "Caretaker. What is this caretaker?" Right?
Yeah,
it was brilliant. But that is such an archetype, and it is absolutely what Supergirl is in this movie. She is a Maygrick character, and so I'm gonna discuss that as we go on.
Yeah, I mean that's what half of people have said. Like if you look at some of the reviews, original reviews for Supergirl, of course they do describe her as a mish out of water quite frequently, because she is actually out of water. Confusingly,
and she's on a mission.
Yeah.
So in fact, more than Maygrick, in fact. She is a mish out of water. You are absolutely correct. But yeah, this is a wonderful movie. And I've spent quite a bit of time preparing for this. So I watched the movie, obviously. And I watched the director's cut of the movie. And I watched the making of documentary about the movie. And I read an early draft of the script of this movie. And, of course, I read the novelization of this movie by Norma Fox Mazer.
Brilliant game.
Which unfortunately was not as interesting as Gremlins, so I'm not going to do a whole extra episode on it. It was more like what you said Terrence Dick's novelizations were like, where it seems like you said he gets the script and just like puts in some description around the dialogue.
Yeah, said Doctor Who.
Yeah, that's what it feels like, a bit more like that. So all I've done here is I've included the best bits from the novelization, the interesting bits, here in this retelling.
Brilliant.
All right, are you ready to start with the retelling of Supergirl from 1984?
Yes, please!
Part 1. No one in this movie lives in a house. We open on a white lump with some torches floating around it. We move inside and discover that the lump is actually some kind of New Age convention centre full of hippies who are all super cheerful and going, "Hello to you. Hello. I hope you're fine." So it sounds like a really annoying place to live.
Yeah.
First of all.
Yeah, they got literally nothing to do. They've got
no
entertainment apart from like occasionally you get to steal an Omega Hedron and destroy the world.
Yeah, it's that, or watch Zoltar make trees. That's all you get to do. Yeah. Otherwise, you got to sit on the floor and maybe learn maths. Yeah, no, it seems really boring. But actually, what I learned from paratextual sources is that this is Argo City. Right?
Yes,
and the Argo City is a load of refugees from Krypton who escaped to inner space rather than exploding. But the film does not mention that or tell you anything about it whatsoever.
No. Do they have walls in Argo City? Is everything's see-through, right? It seems like, you can't get changed in Argo City without someone just walking past and saying, "Hi there."
Yeah, you can't go for a shit without someone saying, "I hope you're fine."
Yeah.
But no, I'm not. I'm trying to have a shit in privacy. No, it's weird. It's the worst. It's like the thing is in Superman.
Yes.
Krypton looks like an awful place to live because it's just a load of straight rocks, right? It's just a load of straight rocks.
Yeah.
With no chairs, nothing comfortable to sit on. It's just it's just a load of rocks, right? Just very well carved.
Probably,
rocks.
I can't remember. It's such a boring film of The only thing I tend to remember about the original Superman movie is how old Clark Kent is before he turns into Christopher Reeve.
Turns young into Christopher Reeves, yeah. No, you remember, it's exactly like the Fortress of Solitude. It's got all those kind of crystal structures, but big,
Yeah.
And no furniture, and it looks really depressing and cold and horrible, and you're kind of glad when it blows up.
Yeah, Marlon Brando's there being miserable as usual.
Yeah, absolutely, because of course he is. He lives in Krypton. It's horrible.
Yeah.
So, Argo City is slightly better than that, but only because it's got, bendy stuff instead of all straight lines. It's still not got any fucking furniture. So we get to see Argo City, but don't really learn anything about it. And we follow Kara, who we know will later become Supergirl. She wanders around for a while until she finds Peter O'Toole, who is actually called Zoltar, building a tree with his magic wand. Kara turns up and asks him what he's making, and he says, "I think a tree." It's a grey sculpture with no leaves that's made out of moulded plastic and shaped nothing like a tree.
Yeah, he's wrong. He's
wrong,
right?
Or he's lying. And this is the first sign that we shouldn't actually trust Zoltar. Maybe he's a villain.
Yeah. Or dumb, because he says he thinks he's making a tree, but he's not sure.
Yeah, he's not
He
sure.
doesn't go "I'm definitely making a tree, Kara."
It's 100% tree. It's so exactly like a tree. When you see a tree, you're going to be like, wow, that really was very tree-like.
Yeah.
So then Kara goes full Magric for the first time and says, "What is a tree, Zoltar?"
Yeah.
And Zoltar says, "Well, it's not this fucking thing I'm making. I don't
no
know
idea.
why I said it's a tree. What I should have said is it's a lump. I've made a fucking lump."
Yeah, look, it's just like another bit of... Everything looks the same in Argo City. You should be like, it's a
wall.
It's another shit wall.
Yeah.
It's another wall that doesn't work.
Yeah. You can have a shit behind it if you want. go do that.
Maybe
now.
that's why Argo City is so bad. Because they said to Zoltar, "Can you build us some walls?" He's like, "Well, I'll have a go, but I don't know what they are." They probably look like this.
Yeah. What's that, Zoltar? I think it's a wall.
I think
no, it's
not.
You are wrong about everything. Zoltar, could you make us a nice private toilet? Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I think so.
There you go. I think I've made one. You haven't.
Yeah.
No, but what he actually says, when she says, "What is a tree, Zoltar?" He actually says, "A tree is a lovely thing that grows on Earth."
Ah.
And Kara says, "What is this Earth you speak of?"
Yeah.
And Zoltar says he might go there soon, and then he shows Kara his spaceship.
Ooh.
Kara says, "But you'd never leave us, Zoltar. You'd never leave Argo City."
No, because there's so much to keep me here.
Well, that's what he says. He says there's too much of a good thing in Argo City. Right? He's like, "No, it's too good here. You've got all that, all those,
Yeah, I know.
walls.
All those see-through walls where I can
Amazing
watch,
walls.
where I can watch everyone getting changed.
But so he's kind of making out that everything's just too good, and therefore it's boring because it's too good.
Well, I don't know. Like you said, he's a villain, and maybe he is, and maybe the walls are see-through for a reason because he made them that way, and he's told everyone that walls are supposed to be like that. He's like,
Maybe.
"No, I've got a really good thing going here in Argo City, where if I tell someone that that
This is a wall.
that this is a wall, and I can
They
look at
just
their
agree.
bum, then that's fine."
Well, I mean, whatever the truth, right? He is saying it's boring there. And I think we can agree with him on that, at least, right? Whether it's boring because it's too wonderful, or it is because it is boring, or because he's just sick of looking at bums all the time. Yeah. Whatever the case, he is bored and wants to leave.
Yes.
So then Kara says, I can't do maths because I'm a thicker. Admittedly, I am paraphrasing a little bit, but that is essentially what she says.
Okay.
And now we're introduced to one of the central mysteries of this film. And it's the same mystery that we were unable to solve in Gremlins, because it is how old is Kara meant to be, right? Because she's acting like she's 5.
Yeah.
Right? Everything she says, this is a 5-year-old. The actress is 19 at this point. And the novelization, which I read, which, as I said, appears to stick very closely to the script, says that at this point she's 15.
Okay.
And it also contains this line in the first chapter, so brace yourself for something a bit disturbing. Zoltar ruffled her hair fondly, his hand lingering for a moment on the silky blonde strands. Such a dear child, and, he reminded himself, such a gap in their ages. Why are you thinking that, Zoltar? Why are you reminding yourself about how young she is and how old you are while you stroke her hair? So, villain established.
You just read it like that because you're a pervert. It just means that he's remembering that he's old. He's just thinking about when he was young and how he wishes he were young. And that's why he's got to get in his spaceship and go to Earth before he dies.
I agree if he remembered, but he reminded himself.
Yeah.
That's the weird phrasing, right? It's like, don't forget, Zoltar, she's a lot younger than you.
Zoltar was about to squeeze the boobs of the 15-year-old girl when he realised that was inappropriate.
That he was too old for it. Yeah, absolutely. It's weird, right?
Yeah, it's a good point, though, because normally in a fish out of water or a mish out of water story, the person isn't a mish out of water in their own house. It's only when they go somewhere else. But she's already
she's immediately, what is
already
this tree,
confused.
Zoltar?
Yeah.
What are you, Zoltar?
What is Argo
Why are you
City?
touching my boobs?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. No, you're right. Yeah, they really do establish it too early in this film. She could have been quite clever in Argo City, and then a complete melon on Earth. Right? That would have been fine.
Yeah.
But no, they're like, okay, better be a melon from the start. Come on, let's make her really dumb. So next up, Zoltar explains where they are really, really well, so we all understand it completely. Okay. He says, Saturn and Earth are in outer space, but we are in inner space. And Kara says, with Dennis Quaid? No, we're in a different inner space. And I'm not going to tell you what that means or ever mention it again. In fact, I'm going to move on to the next plot point without taking a breath. Our city has 2 great power sources. I've got one of them in my pocket, look.
Yeah. Do you want to touch it? Do you want to put your hand in my pocket and have a squeeze?
So then he shows Kara his spinning ball. And Kara says, an omegahedron. So she actually recognises something. She's not like, what is this spinning ball? Can you explain it to me? No, she knows what it is. And then she says, the Guardians let you have it. And Zoltar says, no, I nicked it. I stole one of the 2 great power sources of this city, without which everyone will die. And I've just been carrying it around in my pocket and making trees with it. Because fuck everyone. It's pissing boring here. There's no alcohol. Everyone just sits around in corridors. And the only thing to do is make trees that look absolutely nothing like trees. I really want to leave. And if everyone's dead, there'll be nothing to stop me. And I am paraphrasing slightly again there. But that is, I think, the essence of what he says.
Yeah, I agree. Why did he steal it? Is it to make his spaceship work, or was it for the trees?
He doesn't establish that at all.
Because he's got a wand for making trees, right?
Yeah, when he uses it on the tree, it makes the tree glow. Right? He doesn't. He makes the tree with just his wand.
Yeah.
But then he shows off, he's like, look at the power source, and then he shows off by making the tree glow. Another thing that trees don't do. Right? Sparkly glowing tree.
Yeah.
That's not how trees work, Zoltar.
Seems like it's just a fucking battery, right?
Yeah.
Because because the lights go off when it disappears, and it can make trees light up.
It's a really powerful battery, and unfortunately, it's necessary for their life support systems. Yeah. So Zoltar putting it in his pocket for no reason does seem like a bad idea. So now, next up, Kara's mum arrives, and so Zoltar gives Kara his magic wand and tells her to play with it. What could possibly go wrong? And Kara, who is 5, gets very excited, goes and sits crisscross applesauce on the floor and draws a dragonfly.
Yeah. Which she's heard of. She doesn't know what a tree is, but she's very... She's not familiar with the flora, but she's very familiar with the fauna of Earth. Yeah,
Yes.
that's what we say.
No, absolutely. And like, there don't seem to be a lot of insects in Argo City because there's literally nothing there.
Yeah, and also because they're really, really dangerous apparently because they immediately fly through their thin windows and everyone dies.
Yeah, because unfortunately she does draw a very sharp dragonfly, doesn't she? Like really
does.
unfortunately sharp dragonfly. Should have drawn a blunt one.
But he's given her the megahedron as well, right? And that's why it comes to life.
Not yet.
Not
Later.
yet.
Because that's the weird thing that happens next, right? Because
right.
like Zoltar's talking to Kara's mum while Kara's sitting cross-legged and playing right on the floor.
Yeah.
And he's telling Kara's mum that he's going
kicks
to
it
Venus.
over, yeah.
And he kicks it over to her, but I don't know why. Like, just if you're trying to hide it, put it in your pocket. It is less subtle to be rolling it across the floor.
Yeah.
Again, he's got no reason to have it, and he's got no reason to kick it over to her, except to make the plot happen. That is the only reason.
Yeah. He's mischievous. That's the thing. He's just mischievous. What? That's how you pronounce it, right?
No, there's. It's interesting
Mischievous.
because mischievous is the correct term, but many people say mischievous and add a load of extra sounds. But you've gone for like halfway between those two and pronounced it in a way that no one does.
He's just the mischievous, wizened old person. Like,
He is, yeah. But
yeah.
but usually they have a reason, even just a personal stupid reason. He's got no reason for kicking it over to her.
Yeah, true.
She really, Kara's mum should be like, "Have you seen the Omegahedron? Can I search your pockets?"
Yeah.
because it's missing.
Yeah.
That'd be fine if she knew.
What if the
wouldn't it?
Guardians came looking for it because it's been stolen and
Also,
half of Argo City's not working currently? And like, what's going on?
Yeah, basically the life support's not working. They should have noticed that. Yeah. But no, he kicks it over to Kara for no reason, and she uses it to bring her big, sharp dragonfly to life. And then, unfortunately, it turns out that the city walls are made of cling film.
Yeah.
Which
And then
is a real
all the
disappointing.
water starts gushing in, of course, because they are in inner space, which is in a pond.
Yeah, but it doesn't, right? Because,
No.
the sharp dragonfly flies straight through one, and the atmosphere gets sucked out into the vacuum of space.
Inner
But
space.
The vacuum of inner space, whatever that means. Presumably, Dennis Quaid's out there with his Henry Hoover, trying to suck up some scandalously young women he can marry. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
And he almost gets one because Kara almost gets sucked out of that hole, but before Dennis Quaid can suck up Kara and marry her, the other Kryptonian save her, and Zoltar fixes the wall using his magic wand. It's all right, everyone's okay, stop worrying, everything's fine. Oh no, hang on, we lost the Omegahedron and now everyone's going to die. Well done, geniuses. You built a city out of cling film in a deadly vacuum and powered the life support with a ball that anyone can steal if they feel like making a fucking tree. So Kara's dad is a bit annoyed with Zoltar because he just murdered everyone in the city by being a pillock. And it is now established very clearly that without the Omegahedron, they'll all die in a couple of days.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, they really explicitly say they've got a couple of days.
What's wrong with the other great power source of Argo City? What is that?
I don't know. It's like the
They
lights
mentioned
go.
it. They said there's two of them. There's two of them.
He said there's two, yeah. But then when it's gone, they're like that powers the lights and the air, the life support. The air will go stale. So I don't know. The other one just does the toasters or something. it must be right.
Yeah.
Okay, but while Kara's dad is being annoyed and Zoltar is being useless, Kara jumps in Zoltar's spaceship and leaves. She just gets in a ship that she just finished saying no one could possibly survive. Because she wants to save the city, which establishes that she's the hero of this movie. We don't need her to save a cat to show she's a hero, which is lucky because she pretty much saves no one for the rest of this movie.
Right, yeah. I mean, also she is responsible for this, so she's only doing it because she feels guilty, right?
Yeah, absolutely. No, she's got nice, clear motivation, but yeah, it is her fault. She's just trying to fix her mistake. Or you could argue Zoltar's mistake because he nicked it and was carrying it around in his pocket in the first place, and she is a 5-year-old child. But she feels responsible. Yeah, she thinks it's her fault, whether it is or not. So Zoltar says a load of pseudoscience guff and sends himself to the Phantom Zone. Thanks for your help, Zoltar. He says, your suffering will be short, mine forever. And you don't want to stick around and try and help us not die? No, I'll just be off to the Phantom Zone to
Yeah,
live
yeah.
forever. Have fun dying in a couple of days by my milk.
Yeah. Because, like, seems like, I mean, like, yeah, sure, the Phantom Zone doesn't seem like that fun, but it just seems a bit like being Ben Kenobi, doesn't it? You live in a shitty cave and
Absolutely.
forever, and that's it.
And get drunk, right?
Yeah.
Because Zoltar's just annoyed because Kara just stole his only way to escape. So he's like, shall I stay here and be bored and then die? Or shall I go to the Phantom Zone and get drunk forever?
Yeah.
It's like, Phantom Zone, please. Yeah, me too, Zoltar. Move over. I want a seat in that bit of glass you're travelling there in, please.
Because remember, they all live in Argo City, the most boring shit place in a space or outer space or anywhere, and it's like, wait a second, there's a Phantom Zone where you can get pissed.
Yeah, that sounds better.
Yeah,
it's not good.
It looks
but it's
shit,
better.
but so does Argo City. It has alcohol. Okay, where are you going?
All right, so I've got a little extract from the novelization for you now. And this is describing Kara traveling through the binary chute. And, you know, in the movie, that's with all the lava lamp special effects going on around her.
Yeah, good stuff.
She's in this spaceship. Right, so to pass through the gravitational radiation meant that you were changed forever. What if I'm changed into an old woman? Or a dog? Or an insect? This is Kara thinking, right?
Yeah. Good. So she definitely does know all about animal and insect life, but nothing about
she knows
fucking
about
trees.
dogs and insects. Just
What
not
does she
trees, yeah.
think dogs piss up? What does she think insects live on? What's she been doing?
What is this post you're pissing on with leaves coming out of it? She doesn't know. Well, she doesn't know what a tree is because Zoltar keeps telling her things that aren't trees are trees. If it weren't for Zoltar, she'd be fine on what a tree is.
Yeah.
But he keeps confusing matters. I've made a tree. Look, it's dog-shaped.
I think maybe he's already had a few squirts at that point in the movie when he's like, I think it's a tree, a good bit
It might be
tree.
a tree, but I can't see it. Can't fucking see it.
Oh.
Anyway, it continues. As she left the zone of white light and crossed through the register from inner space to outer space, Kara underwent a slow, subtle transformation. No longer the gawky 15-year-old, she had become a beautiful, self-possessed woman of 17.
Wow.
What the fuck, right? She changed from a 15-year-old to a 17-year-old. Also, this claims that that's a woman, but whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, you know,
I mean,
why? What's the point of that?
I don't know, because the thing is, like, you can't. I mean, like, maybe, yeah. What they're saying is her boobs got bigger. I think, but that's not what makes you a woman. You know, life experience is what makes you a woman. And she's had no life experience in a binary chute.
No,
that's
nothing.
just no.
So
not
basically,
at all.
her body got 2 years older, is what happened.
Yeah.
So it's just damage, just radiation damage. She's just 2
Yeah.
years closer to dying. That's all.
That's what's happened. Yeah.
You're just describing radiation damage, just a very small amount.
And also, she's definitely not a woman, because otherwise the book would be called Superwoman, wouldn't it? So
Yeah, no, she's 17. She is still a child, absolutely. Yeah, but what happens in the movie is that her hair and clothes change. But apparently what we're supposed to read from that when we watch that movie is that she's not a 15-year-old child anymore. Now she's a fully adult woman of 17. That's what we should have rather than, where did those clothes come from? That was weird.
right, is that what happens in the movie? She just suddenly is wearing a Supergirl outfit.
Yeah, and very suddenly, it's like in the ball, when she's in the ball, like at one point it cuts back to her and she's got a Supergirl costume on, and now she's got blonde hair instead of the kind of, I guess, mousy brown that she has as Kara or something. But that's how we understand adults, of course. Children don't have blonde hair, only adults of 17 do. So yeah, I thought that was, when I was reading the book, that was perhaps the weirdest thing that happened. I don't know why that needed to be there.
I guess because she's going to be engaged in some kind of romantic escapades, right? So
why
they
could
want
she
her
not
to
just
be a bit
17?
older.
Then, if just don't say she's 15 when Peter O'Toole's touching her.
Well,
up there.
they're like, because they're going like, I mean, she doesn't know what a tree is. She can't be 17. A 17-year-old
15-year-old, that's
definitely
just as
knows what a
bad.
tree is, but maybe a 15-year-old doesn't know what a tree is.
Cut to Faye Dunaway, who is
Hooray.
playing Selena, the evil witch, and Peter Cook,
Hooray.
who is Nigel, the maths teacher, are having a picnic, sitting on a tiger and drinking champagne. Selena says, "Such a pretty world. I can't wait until it's all mine." So, love a villain with a nice, clear motivation. She wants the world. She's going to drill for Balleradium so she can have the universe.
Yeah.
But Nigel doesn't know about the Balleranium clause. So he says, the only way you can rule the world is to become invisible, my pumpkin. What? Then he tells her the spell to become invisible, which involves beans and someone's head.
Yeah.
And at no point does he explain how being invisible means that you rule the world. And nor does the novelization. This makes as much sense as Balleranium. If you become invisible, you can have the universe. Or quick, paint me invisible coloured. Paint me invisible. I want to have the universe.
Yeah.
Then they talk some more guff about black magic and how they don't like each other. And then the Omegahedron flies out of the river and lands in their cheesy dip. Selena picks up the Omegahedron, and we know it's magic because it doesn't have any cheesy dip on it. Selena, who is an optimist, immediately tries to make herself immortal. Right? She doesn't know what the ball is. She just thinks, I could probably be immortal now if I just ask this ball. It's like the first thing she does. Picks it up like, right, make me immortal, would you? Then she tells Peter Cook that she's leaving him for this ball she just found in her dip. Selena starts the car using her magic ball, and as she drives away, the radio tells us that Superman is on a peacekeeping mission to a galaxy that scientists estimate may be several 100 billion light years away. So, thanks, scientists. Thanks for guessing that Superman might be an unfeasibly long way away and giving yourself a margin of error of several 100 billion. All right, so I've got a question for you.
Yes.
How fast can Superman fly?
Not very.
What do you reckon?
Like about
Actually, yeah, come to think of it, from Superman 3, which is the last time we saw him before this comes after Superman 3, because apparently he's been able to fly several 100 billion light years.
Okay.
Right? And considering that like the speed of light is like the the fastest speed in the universe, nothing can travel faster than that, right? That's impossible as far as we know. That means even if he travels at the speed of light, it should take him several 100 billion years to get there, because that's what a light year is. It's the time that light takes
but I mean,
to travel.
he can basically do the minute mile, though. That's what we've learned. So, I mean, how long does that take?
It's got to take him, I mean, several 100 billion years if he could travel at light speed, and he can't. He can travel slower than walking.
Yeah.
Right?
Depends which Superman he is. I mean, when did Supergirl come out? Because it might be the Superman from the one where he can fly backwards around the world and make time go back. In which case, like, it took
Actually,
him.
that's true.
It
He
took
was
him
very fast, wasn't he? Yeah.
minus 36 billion years to get across the universe.
Yeah, so but what you're saying is, I'm thinking he flew there forwards, which would have taken ages.
Yeah,
but he flew there backwards, and so he travelled in time.
Little Howard dreamed of being a writer, and so he sat and wrote every night. But everything he wrote was fucking shite, yeah. Wubba-dubba-doo, wubba-dubba-doo. Worst writer in the world, worst writer in the world, worst writer in the world, worst writer in the world.
Thank you for listening to this episode of The Worst Writer in the World.
Right.
You probably want to know what happens next.
Yes, please.
In the Supergirl story. Well, you can find out for just $2 by going to patreon.com/manbycow, where this entire story, all 6 episodes of the Supergirl story, are available right now.
Hooray!
Also, best thing about them, they don't have this bit on the end of us like chatting and trying to get you to join the gang. So if you like listening and you like doing something, your hands are busy so you can't flick forward, like I like to listen to podcasts while I'm cycling. This bit really irritate me.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm like, no, I want it to roll over to the next episode, please. What are you going on about this rubbish for? But if you're on the gang, it just straight on to the next episode. Lovely.
Wow.
And of course, if you do sign up for $2, you also get a load of other stuff as well, including loads of old Man by Cow episodes, for example, loads of extended Worst Writer episodes.
Oh my gosh.
All kinds of videos, and it's just, I mean, it's ridiculous. Great bench leaf.
Yeah,
you know?
in both senses of the word.
Yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous how much you get. And also, everything we've ever made is ridiculous. So thanks for listening, and bye-bye, milk.
Bye-bye.
He's a stupid, suck-ass, rubbish writer. Yeah.